I'm like, you know what, man? As a gangbanger, right? When you go on a mission, you might, when you looking for your so-called enemy, you driving through a different hood down the street. You know, it's an invisible line. You cross this street, now you in another hood, and you hunting. And when you looking, you gonna pass up the dude that's dressed square, right? You gonna pass up a dude from a different race. When you see somebody that's dressed like you dress and got the walk like you got and got the body language like you gonna say, there you go, get him. And that's deep.
Whew.
You know what I'm saying? When you really unpack that,
That's crazy.
you know what I'm saying? You looking for yourself just on the other side of town. And you gonna hop out and attack him and try to down him in a real way. And being caught up in gangbanging culture, you don't think that deep. You just think of these niggas came through and shot the hood up. We about to go back through there and return the favor. But as you really mature, as I matured and you know became exposed to other opportunities and embraced them, had to be honest with myself. I start being honest and thinking about it like damn, you know, just the selection process, the way that you select who your target is gonna be, that's something to think about.
What a week, right? Excuse me. Well, let's talk about it. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know any of the street politics of this whole situation, but we're just gonna cover as much as we can. This is 107 pages, but this was an indictment of Big U and uh, Brick Baby and Loose Cannon and a whole host of others. I think it's over 21 defendants, and it is some serious situations here. I mean, this indictment involves federal charges against the defendants for alleged criminal activities that's including potential fraud, conspiracies, and other violations of federal law, including the M word and actual trafficking and a whole host of things, checking in, all kinds of stuff. So, y'all, we're just going to take it one by one. As you can see here, this was filed 3/17/2025. They were stating that Big U was on the run, but come to find out, he just tied up his affairs and he turned himself in. So, from my understanding, I think everybody has been accounted for, right? They're basically saying that they have been um following this case since 2010, right? For all the defendants involved. They're saying that the offense descriptions are the RICO conspiracy, interference with commerce by robbery, transportation of individuals in interstate commerce with intent that the individual engage in prostitution, and bank fraud. There's a lot of other things that's surrounding, particularly Big U, in a situation of DNA as well. And what we're going to do is just talk a little bit about what's going on in this indictment. And we're also going to post some clips that we've been seeing around the internet as far as with this case, with a couple of the people that's been involved and what have you. So, they start, of course, with the introduction, the purpose of the affidavit, persons, property, and premises to be searched. They did all of this, items that were seized. They're going to go through the summary of the investigation, and they start talking about the Big U Enterprises, the check-in, and how it works. I mean, they went so detailed in all of this. So we're going to skip ahead on a couple of these things, okay? We can't go through all of it, right? They even have it. Oh, I want to make sure we get all of this right here so you can see this. Arrangement for recording equipment from the studios to be removed and surveillance videos to be destroyed. Evidence of the scene. There was a situation of an up and coming rapper who's it seemed like Big U was involved in his murder. Um, some interceptions, interviews of family witness and Big U Enterprise associates. There was a robbery in violation of the Hobbs Act, something that went on at a marijuana dispensary, a gunpoint. It's so many things here. Sex trafficking, wire fraud, bank fraud, other tax crimes. Now, oh, and you'll see this in the vid. Big U said that he's innocent of all of this, but he didn't mention anything about the thing that he was accused of with his DNA. But all this other stuff he said that he was innocent from.
and told the city they didn't want nobody to give me no more money. They went to all the different celebrities and told all the different celebrities, don't give me no money, don't help me, don't do nothing for me. They going around scaring and intimidating everybody. But y'all sitting it around getting people in trouble. Like y'all don't understand what the FBI do to black men who try to help their community. I ain't been nothing but a help to our community. But I guess it is what it is. This the price of being black and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community and do what you can. You just guilty because somebody else don't like you and they can go on the internet and do what the fuck they want to and y'all gonna promote it. It's crazy. But I'm going to go turn myself in though. Cause I ain't did nothing. This fact is, man, they done went to my house, kicked my houses in, bust my doors down, bust my windows. They calling my son at his football practice, threatening him. You know what I mean? These dudes tagging him. What kind of shit is this?
They talked about coercion of witnesses to recant statements on him, various threats and brag of violence. Now, just to get yourself familiar with Big U, if you remember correctly, he was with Nipsey, right? But something happened between him and Nipsey that caused them to fall out. Some people even have some suspicion that he might have had something to do with Nipsey's untimely passing and what have you. So that's a sticky situation in itself. I'm not going to cover any of that because I'm not doing that. Okay. So basically, this is the special agent that was in charge and was letting them know how they was getting all the information in. Um, he was assigned to, to do the investigation. He's breaking down his experience and whatnot, so we can skip all of that. The purpose of the affidavit, of course, is to get Eugene Henley Jr., as we know as Big U, Unc, Draws. I don't know why that is a nickname for him, but hey, whatever. Hannibal, Hannibal Muhammad, and Anybody Killer, Dave Dave Austin, which is Henley. And then they move on to Sylvester Robinson, known as Vay, Mark Martin, also known as Bear Claw, for violation of Title 18 of the United States Section Code 1962D, racketeering, influence, and corrupt organization. Well, RICO, just RICO. Okay. They also have this dude named Tremaine Ashley, which is loose cannon, and for violation for interference with commerce and robbery. You have Manny for transportation of individuals. Frederick Blanton Tiffany, violation of bank fraud. I mean, they set forth all these affidavits for all of this stuff here. Um, They say a black Mercedes registered to Henley and believed to be used by Henley bearing California plates. They gave the plates number and everything. Oh, his address. They got his whole address on here. Different residents that he has. Also showing that information. Let's scroll on down a little bit. Some items that was seized was his Mercedes and some stuff that was in the premises that was instrumental of the RICO. They have him under conspiracy to interference and attempted interference with commerce and robbery and extortion, use of firearm in furtherance of crime of violation, sex trafficking, embezzling, wire fraud, conversion, and international intentional misapplication of funds from organization receiving federal funds. That's that PPP loan I think they're talking about. Willful failure to file tax returns. Oh my gosh. They are just going extortion, robbery. I mean, this is all the reasons for the affidavit. And so the summary of investigation, this is where they start. Okay, summary of investigation. In February 2021, the FBI, Los Angeles Metropolitan Task Force of Violent Gangs, launched an investigation into Henley's criminal enterprise, the Big U Enterprise, and its association with the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips Street Gang, which one which the task force began investigating back in August 2020. The Big U Enterprise is a mafia-like organization that utilizes Henley's stature and long-standing association with Rolling Sixties and other street gangs to intimidate businesses and individuals in Los Angeles. The Big U Enterprise is led by Henley. Henley is a self-admitted member of the original gangster or OG of the Rolling Sixties, a violent criminal street gang with associated sets in several other states. You know, they never talk about the Hells Angels like that. I'm just going to say that. And Hells Angels was very violent, but they since made themselves a corporation, and you don't hear that about the Hells Angels, even though they're violent as hell. But okay, continue. Henley is widely regarded as a leader within the Rolling Sixties. In the 1980s, Henley rose to a prominent position in the Los Angeles drug and Rolling Sixties hierarchies. During this time, Henley also earned a reputation as an enforcer for the Rolling Sixties. Some members of Big U's Enterprises are also members of the Rolling Sixties. Henley is able to lead the Big U Enterprise because of his standing as the face of Rolling Sixties for decades and his reputation for violence, including murder. At times, the Big U Enterprise partners with members and associates of the Rolling Sixties and other criminal elements for mutual benefit. For the Big U Enterprise, but Big U Enterprise is a distinct and independent criminal enterprise engaged in criminal activity. Members and associates of the Big U Enterprise are engaged in illegal activities, including extortion, robbery, murder, human trafficking, wire fraud, bank fraud, and other financial crimes. Obstructive of justice, illegal debt collection, illegal gambling, conspiracy to commit fraud via illegal gambling, and other offenses in furtherance of the Big U enterprise and for the benefit of its members and associates. Now, you might be thinking, like, how do you know all of this information? How do you really know that Big U is involved in this? Now, according to them, they got all this evidence. Also, another thing that they have that you should know by now is the internet. Everybody always want to show their business on the internet. That's how they got a lot of this. They was just paying attention to the instant IG posts, the Twitter posts, going on these different podcasts, like Vlad and them. They they really made the FBI's job easy. The task force job very, very, very easy.
He'll be like he'll manipulate things. Like we'll go and do something, and the same niggas we do it to show up to the house like 10 minutes later when we trying to counting everything, right? And we be like, how the fuck they get the? Oh, well, we're gonna just give them like $40,000 back and stuff like that. But cause it's actually putting us in paperwork, right? And like doing like real police shit. I seen the nigga get like 20 guns, and when he got 20 guns, he's selling them to the homies. But I'm like, why are you writing down the serial numbers? So it's like he was doing like shit like that, and I didn't catch on. So it was like, I'm waking up now. You get what I'm saying? Because
this
I'm
is
his,
high-tech shit.
I'm his right hand man. You get what I'm saying? So when it came down to like dirt and stuff like that, I'm gonna get it. You get what I'm saying? And then like one day,
you know why?
This is where they talk about it. See, as set forth in details below, through the course of investigation, agents gathered information from a variety of sources to include confidential human sources, surreptitious recordings, including Title III wiretaps, search warrants for social media, iCloud, and Google accounts. I don't know why people think that social media, your cloud is so safe. It's not. It's easy for you to put your information in, but it's easy for them to get as well. Um, Also, financial records from both the individuals and companies or organizations, toll records showing communications between conspirators, victims, and Big U members and associates, cell site locations. Oh God, they was pinging them. Information from numerous phones, including Henley's, Robinson's, and Martin's, City of Los Angeles records, public filings, and other publicly available information, and interviewing of witnesses and victims. The investigation employed various additional investigative techniques, including surveillance, vehicle tracking, poll cameras, recording devices, interaction with confidential sources, and information gleaned through undercover purchases of firearms and narcotics. So they had an undercover sting on them as well. Now, again, and you'll see it Big U says that he is not guilty of any of this stuff, but I don't know. Hey, we'll just see how this shakes out. They also have Brick Baby. His name is Zahir Mitchell, aka Brick Baby. He is the court also authorized the interception of audio and visual with him nonverbal conduct via closed circuit television through installation of video and audio bugs in the location. Oh wow. This is crazy. So this is the summary of probable cause. It says Henley, Robinson, and Martin and others, known and unknown, are members of the Big U Enterprise, a criminal organization whose members and associates engaged in, among other things, murder, kidnapping, robbery, extortion, interstate transportation for the purpose of prostitution, bank fraud, wire fraud, embezzlement, and obstruction of justice. The Big U Enterprises operates within the Central District of California and elsewhere. The Big U Enterprises, including its leaders, members, and associates, constituted as enterprise, is defined by Title 18 United States Code Section 1961-4. That is a group of individuals associated in fact that engaged in and activities of which affected interstate and foreign commerce. The Big U Enterprises constituted an ongoing organization whose members and associates function as a continuing unit for the common purpose of achieving the purpose of the Big U Enterprise. The purposes of the Big U Enterprise include, but are not limited to, the following: enriching Big U Enterprise members and associates by using the power and status of the Big U Enterprise and Henley as original gangster of the Rolling 60s to commit extortion, robbery, fraud, and other crimes. Promoting, protecting, and expanding the power, reputation, and profits of the Big U Enterprises and its members and associates through the use of intimidation, fear, violence, threats of violence, assaults, extortion, and murder. Using social media platforms, documentaries, podcasts, interviews, and Henley's reputation and status to create fame for and stoke fear of the Big U Enterprise, its members, and its associates. Wow. Financially enriching Big U Enterprise members and associates by defrauding donors to nonprofit entities under the control of the Big U Enterprise and its members and associates, including developing options. It's just going on and on and on. So let's get into some of the things here because this is just, multiple acts involving, oh goodness, murder chargeable under Nevada, revive kidnapping, robbery, extort. Oh my God. Mm-mm-mm. They say it was further part of the conspiracy that Henley and Robinson and Martin agreed that a conspirator would commit at least two acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of the affairs of the Big U Enterprise. And they just keep talking about the same thing with their charges, with their charges, with their charges. So they just letting you know. And so let's move down a little bit. This is when we come into the check-in part. Let's get to the check-in. Okay. It says here, Henley, I wish they had the date of this. Let's see where we can start at. Okay, as part of the Big U Enterprise Reported Control, Los Angeles, individuals, including professional athletes, musicians, and others intending to conduct certain types of business in Los Angeles, including both legitimate business and illicit criminal conduct, were required to check in with Henley prior to traveling to Los Angeles or engaging in certain activities to obtain protection from the Big U Enterprise while in Los Angeles. Henley hosted a podcast titled Checking In, the opening theme song of which explained, when you hop off the plane, check in. Penthouse suite, check in. When your feet hit the street, check in. Because if not, shit get hot. You better check in. The check-in include both a payment to the Big U Enterprise as well as requesting permission from Henley to conduct certain activities, including acts of violence that were sanctioned by the Big U enterprise. As Henley described in the documentary film that he produced about his life titled Hip Hop Uncovered, if I don't pick up the phone, that means death for somebody. And you wondering, you really, you wondering why you got arrested? I'm just saying. As Henley stated in the Nothing to Something podcast, you're going to check in. You could choose not to, and it's going to be a problem. If you choose not to check in, you suffer the consequences. You feel like you got something bigger than what's there, and that not checking in is basically an act of war. It ain't it ain't not one human being who not gonna check in. Okay, let me redirect my vernacular. It ain't not one human being who not gonna check in. Okay, I had to say that the way I know what he was trying to say. Excuse me. While members and associates of the Big U Enterprise use Henley and the Big U Enterprise history and reputation to control Los Angeles through violence, fear, and intimidation, Henley simultaneously attempted to create an air of legitimacy for the Big U Enterprise by promoting himself as a reformed gang member focused on bettering his community through purported nonprofit organizations he funded, such as Developing Options and by soliciting, excuse me, donations from celebrities and grants from the governments and foundations to these charitable organizations. In actuality, Henley and other members and associates of the Big U enterprise used these purported nonprofit entities to enrich and further the objective of the Big U enterprises, including by embezzling funds, using the nonprofit entities to fraudulently apply for government assistance and loans, PPP, using the nonprofit entities to falsify employment and financial records of and to personally benefit members and associates of the Big U enterprise. A member of associates of the Big U enterprise would discipline other members and associates who acted in ways seen as detrimental to the Big U enterprise or other individuals who were seen disrespecting the Big U enterprise. Wow. Members and associates of the Big U enterprise would avoid detection by law enforcement by, among other activities, attempting to thwart and evade law enforcement surveillance, destroying video surveillance of other evidence, and threatening or otherwise pressuring victims or witnesses of crimes committed by members or associates of the Big U enterprise to avoid interaction with or to provide untruthful statements or testimonies to law enforcement officers. In some, there is probable cause to believe that in further, that Big U Enterprise Henley kidnapped and murdered victim RW in Las Vegas in retaliation for perceived disrespect to the Big U Enterprise and endeavored to conceal the murder that the other Big U Enterprise members and associates, with the other Big U Enterprise members and associates. Oh my goodness. It said that Henley and his crew basically committed and arranged robberies to enrich the Big U enterprise, further extortion committed by the Big U enterprise, and to create the impression that Big U enterprise controlled Los Angeles. Oh, wow. They said that they would extort individuals in Los Angeles for purported protection when such protection was actually from violence committed by the Big U enterprise. So, in other words, pay us not to kick your ass, basically. Wow. They say here Henley and I think that's Af Afyehi, Afyehi, um, arranged for the interstate transportation of individuals to engage in prostitution for Henley and Big U enterprise members. They defrauded various companies, donors, athletes, celebrities into providing donations to the Big U enterprise charities, only to transfer those donations to his own personal bank account for personal use. Oh, wow, they're really getting them. They got the wiretap interception, public domain interviews to include YouTube, podcast interviews, and docuseries, electronic and other written communications, interviews of certain individuals, and City of Los Angeles records and other publicly available documents. Again, y'all going on these podcasts talking about stuff that there is no statute of limitation for. You, I don't understand what happened to where you feel like you need to divulge everything you do on a podcast that cops actually look at. This is the thing. Some of y'all not even going on podcasts. Y'all just sitting up there opening up your phone and doing the most dumbest, guess what, I want to go to jail shit ever.
Team needs a bag. So what we do? Walk in the club. You had like 9 of your homies. It was like 30 of us. The security moved to the side. I said, Meek, you know what's this about? You started taking it off and handing it to me. You was polite about it, Sugar Plum. You was polite. Sugar Plum, you was polite. I hear Rose. Hey, look. I got this. You got this artist you pumping. You don't want this to get out. We need 50. He brought 52, Crenshaw, and 48. He brought that money. He brought it fast. And when he brought it, I hit Big Useless and said, we on our way. Gave Meek Mills his stuff back and left.
And then you get surprised that they can arrest you. And the first thing they do, they tell you, so we looked at YouTube. We looked at your IG account. We've seen the social media. And you get surprised, like, oh my God, I didn't do anything. And it's like, if they got you in a whole docuseries talking shit, so are you saying that it's made up? Like, how are you going to fight this? They got you on your own stuff. Like, how, it isn't like somebody else, like, yeah, let me tell you what I saw. It's like, we not only that, but we saw you saying this too. How do you fight that? Like, how do you really fight that? Okay, let's go. This is sad. See, for instance, here, look at this. Much of Big U's enterprise structure and affiliation with the Rolling 60s is in the public domain. In the television series Hip Hop Uncovered, okay, the docuseries, which Hanley executive produced, Hanley detailed the history of the Rolling 60s and his involvement with that gang. Hanley admitted he was Rolling 60 members from the first generation, meaning that he's the OG. Okay. Henley advised that the Rolling Sixties was a large Crip gang known to instill fear in the community. Henley claimed that he did not have gang-related tattoos because people already knew where he was from, and it was never a question. A similar quote that Henley often repeated when asked why he has no tattoos. And of course, they break down in the footnotes, based on the training experience of the special agent. They talk about different parts of the tattoos and what have you. Hmm. So they talk about how he got started. He was in California. We're gonna skip all of this part. Um, so it looked like they're just kind of talking about how he got started in that docu-series. So they're mentioning a couple of things here. Okay. Now I am going to have the actual link so you can take a look yourself because I'm quite sure there's going to be some things that you guys are going to find also. Um, They talk about how he actually got started in music, it looks like here. Henley subsequently connected with hip hop artist Kenneth Green, aka Papa LQ, and became his manager. In the docuseries, Papa LQ recounted that Henley was in tune with both the community and gang culture. Henley also became a manager of hip hop artist Ricardo Emmanuel Brown, aka Corrupt. who's an awesome MC. Self-admitted Rolling 60 gang member. Then this is where they go, like, for in 1991, he was found guilty and he was sentenced to 23 years in state prison for robbery. And as he admitted, he was also charged with kidnapping. Now, he maintained contact, ensured that he was kept abreast of development in the music industry and what have you. In 2022, on the podcast Dub C and C Max show, Henley described himself as an enforcer in prison and recounted knocking somebody's eyeball out of their socket as well as committing savage. Oh, okay, yeah, all right. So he was released from prison in 2004. Hip hop artist Calvin Broadus, as we know as Snoop Dogg, characterized Henry as institutionalized. You say the wrong thing, you're gonna get fucked up. He was short-tempered and serious about shit he was on. Something about him I liked because I felt like he was a leader. So they go more into detail about that in the docu-series and stuff. They said, in Henley's own words, though, show the falsity of his claims of reformation. For example, December 31st, 2022, on the intercepted call, Henley explained his motivation for committing murders on behalf of Big U Enterprise, stating, "What you guys see on the internet, y'all keep hearing other people who don't have nothing to talk about but sell. Let me explain something to you. If I would have had a problem with any man, color, creed, king, or kind, the issue would have been resolved and he wouldn't be here, or I wouldn't be here. It ain't no kid, nothing. And it damn near nobody and it damn near nobody who been in this motherfucker longer than me can stand against me and me be who I am. If I if I had a problem with any man and this wouldn't be so funny to me, I'll still say who I am. I'm still who they say I am. Okay. It's oh wow. He said, I'm retired. Activists, I'll pull up on your block right now and show up and show out. Okay, when he was discussing something with the co-conspirator and he's discussing gang politics with them. That's what happened to the last one that thought I was retired. Okay, so he's on the phone talking big shit, basically. Mm-mm-mm. He goes into detail about him and Suge Knight and how Suge Knight helped him. Okay, in approximately 2008, he formed a relationship with hip hop artist Ermias Joseph, well, Nipsey. We're just gonna say Nipsey. After several years, Henley temporarily left the industry after he had a falling out with Nipsey related to equipment at Henley's shop. Henley recounted in the docuseries that Nipsey Hussle made a diss song about Henley, but that Henley is a scrapper, not a rapper. Now, people do say that they, and I mentioned it previously, they do say that they think that he has something to do with Nip passing and whatnot. I don't know if that's going to come out or what have you, but from what I understand so far, nothing has gotten that part. Um, it says that Henley stated that even after they settled their differences, he picked up Nipsey Hussle one morning so that Nipsey Hussle could get disciplined for his this song. However, Nipsey Hussle's brother intervened and told him that Nipsey Hussle was not going anywhere. Okay, that's probably when it was at the shop and he was supposed to go. And Black Sam was like, nah, that's not happening. So, that's the thing. Black Sam and Nipsey, Black Sam made he really looked out for his brother and everything. Um, LAPD reports documented that violence erupted when the LAPD officers arrived on the scene. A firearm was present and discharged in 2019. Nipsey Hussle was murdered by a member of the Rolling 60s. And this is why they say they think that Big U has something to do with it. And that guy is still awaiting trial and everything, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Wow. It says in the docuseries, record producer Andre Young, aka Dr. Dre, explained that it's very helpful to have an OG who can clear the streets. See, that's what their part thing is. They use it as clear the streets, making sure everything, when you get there, you're supposed to be okay. But it seems like they was abusing the check-in from what they're saying, right? They're saying within the operating environment, Hanley instituted the concept of the check-in when hip hop artists and other celebrities visit Los Angeles. And this is the thing about the check-in though, right? And you'll see a clip with one of the guys that's on there um talk about it. Like, look, the only thing you really have to do is just come to Los Angeles, do your business, get your food, go back to the hotel and leave. You ain't really got to do all this. You want to have fun? Go have fun in the safe places. Because when you think about it, just think about it now. Nobody else have to go to Los Angeles and check in, but all of the black entertainers, superstars, whoever's black and rich and what have you, they have to go check in. That's crazy. I gotta pay you to not get hurt. You ain't doing that to the white folk. You ain't doing it to the Arabs. You ain't doing it to nobody else. But black people, you gonna do that to. That is crazy. But then again, we want to hang with our people. We want to chill out. We want to be like of the community sometimes. And now you see what's going on, depending on the person you're meeting up with, what you got to go through. So it just makes sense to go straight to the hotel, get your food, stay where you need to stay, do your business, and get your behind back out of there. That's what it is.
Been rumors that LA is probably one of the most dangerous places for rappers. Do you believe that's true?
Yeah, because I mean, everybody be checking in. That's your favorite thing to do. Check in with somebody that's gonna rob your stupid ass.
Right.
Like,
Wow.
yo, you think that guy, the guy that you don't know, motherfucker, in California got your back? The guy that got beef with other hoods and all this, you checking in to that dude?
Right.
Bro, just go to the hotel, get you something to eat, go back to the hotel.
Do your business.
Go have some fun.
Right.
Where shit is fun. Why do you want to go over there?
Right.
For what?
Mm-mm-mm. So a lot of the stuff they took off of, they took out of his docuseries. Oh, they talk about Bimmy too, which is James Atney. I think that's Dave Atney's brother. Out of Georgia. No, is it Georgia or are they New York? I think they're from New York. But I think they currently live in Georgia now. In the docuseries, James Atney, aka Bimmy, and Steve Lowell, CEO of A2Z Entertainment, stressed that it's important to know the right people, such as Henley, when visiting places like LA. However, as podcasts, they got DJ Academic's name on here, explained in the docuseries. The check-in is oh goodness, ana- analogous to the Commission for the Gang and Neighborhood where an OG is from. Wow, they got trick. They went through this whole docuseries. That's why you don't do a docuseries. If you still connected in some type of way, why are you doing a docuseries? But anyway, they said that in 2022, the FBI interviewed a cooperating witness who was the first one, and I guess who told the FBI about these check-in incidents. And CW1 said that he knew Henley, who was a Rolling 60s, and Henley led a money-making gang that was distinct from the Rolling 60s, referring to Big U Enterprises. According to CW1, rap artists, athletes, and other individuals needed to pay Henley a fee when they visited Los Angeles. Oh wow. It says here, basically this is extortion payments. Then recounted that a large buy-in dice game occurred in Los Angeles June 2019. The game involved the professional boxer AB's associate, and several prominent NBA players. I wonder who. It said AB and his associates fixed the game and cheated the NBA players out of millions of dollars using teased dice. Oh my God. But after that, Henley directed a group of the Big U Enterprise associates to rough up AB, who did not check in with Henley, and to get the money back from him on behalf of the cheated NBA players. And there you go. Therein lies why people want to check in. And CW1 is telling all that they have parties, dice games involving large sum of money with prominent NBA players and celebrities in Los Angeles. Multiple persons involved in the incidents who have been since interviewed, including former NBA players who I don't think they mentioned anybody's name yet, who have since been interviewed, including former inmate, okay, confirmed that Henley was paid $100,000 for negotiating this debt. However, each was later approached by the associates of AB and told they still owed money. Wow. Supposedly legitimate business and charities used by Big U Enterprises, they're saying that nah. Now, his business called Developer was supposed to be the charity. Developing Options does business as any other entity, including the Crenshaw Rams youth football team. This is a shame because if you did have this legitimate thing going on with the kids, who's going to step in now and make sure those kids is okay? Because that could be the only thing that those kids have to hold on to be able to get their skill set and what have you. And now all of that is gone. Mm-mm-mm. They said in the docuseries that Henley indicated that the Developing Options was a platform he used to help individuals to get to college instead of going to jail. Many other publicly available recordings online show Henley describing the structure of Developing Options, how it is funded, and what it's claimed to do for the community. Mm, wow. Trying to get into some of the other stuff here because this is really talking about the fraud and how, the business at hand that he fraudulently applied for the PPP loan here. They discussed that. The racketeering activity. Okay, here we go. This is one of the things here. This is racketeering activity of murdering RW. Wow. As set forth below, there is a probable cause to believe that Henley murdered victim RW January 25th, 2021, and dragged his body into the desert in North Las Vegas. Wow. Okay, so before we get into this, now there is going to be a clip later on in here that we're going to show where they're discussing that he could be possibly part of another situation with his DNA. And I mentioned that earlier, but this is why I was mentioning that because now it looks like if it is true, if this is true, again, all of this is, he has to go through the system, what have you. But if this is true, then it might be two murders that he may be associated with. Okay. With that said, let's continue with this one. This is RW. On the morning, VPD, the detectives discovered the body of RW lying in the desert near an Apex landfill. RW had been shot multiple times, and his body had been dragged and left in a ditch not far from Interstate 15. Hours before his homicide, RW was at the studio of Witness 2 with Henley. Las Vegas PD investigation revealed that RW was one of Henley's recording artists and was at the studio as a guest of Henley, recording for Unique Music, the independent record label that Henley and Martin co-founded. According to the studio witness one, who was employed as security for the recording studio, yeah, just tell all his business. Henley was one of the last people seen with RW prior to RW's homicide. Witness 1 also stated that Robinson drove Henley to Las Vegas from Los Angeles in a dark gray Lexus, and that Witness 1, in his security capacity, encountered Henley and Robinson when they arrived at the studio and had words with them because he did not know who they were. Witness 1 statement says that the Las Vegas PD at the outset of the murder investigation have been corroborated by other witnesses and cell phone location data, among other evidence. Further investigation revealed motive and opportunity, obstruction, and inculpatory statements. Ooh, these words is catching me. And more from Henley and other members, associates of the Big U Enterprises. Okay. They say on January 20th, 2021, 5 days before the murder and 3 days before Henley and Robinson drove from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, RW recorded a diss short for disrespect song that the police obtained later. In it, RW rapped about the person who had the money. RW would be shot in the face for thinking shit's funny and referenced a 38 revolver with no trace. Oh, wow. Wow. And it says RW was shot days later in the face, apparently with a revolver like a 38 that left no shell casing. It is unfamiliar. It is unknown whether Henley heard these lyrics prior to the murder. Oh, goodness. They said, as such, I'm skipping ahead here. As such, ensuring that no disrespect, Henley, and that any such perceived disrespect is met with reprehensible violence, is a core tenet of the Big U Enterprises, and even more so than that, disrespect is displayed publicly, like in front of extortion victims, so that you know we're gonna beat your ass and nobody as an example. Okay, so they're gonna make an example out of a person. As Henley himself stated on an intercepted call in 2023, can't no N-word beef with me, N-word, because if he do, I'ma kill him. Period. I am going to murder him. Okay. Hey man, this is crazy. When y'all see the clip of him speaking like I haven't done anything, they got the wrong person and all this other stuff, and you're reading through this, they're telling you what this man said. It said, as Robinson explained in the surreptitious recording, oh my gosh, surreptitious recording, when Henley got out, he said, I'm the toughest end, and here's my body of work to prove it. And you know, I'm the only end still killing ends today. You ends retired. I didn't. They understand that. Oh my goodness. Mm-mm-mm. I said, as witness to explain Henley through the Big U Enterprises entity Unique Music was using witness to expensive, valuable studio to record the Big U Enterprise artist RW for free, based on the fear and power dynamic that was imposed over Witness 2 by Big U Enterprises for years, and by taking a lackadaisical approach to the studio time that Big U Enterprises had secured for free, RW was wasting that time. I believe that RW wasting that the time, thereby disparaging Henley's name and the Big U Enterprise reputation, and potentially flouting that disrespect with the lyrics of the diss song led to dispute between Henley and RW. The dispute was so serious that Henley and Robinson drove from Los Angeles to Las Vegas to confront RW. That dispute then turned deadly. Oh, they said through their investigation, no investigator, family members, witness, or other third parties have ever identified any individuals that have motive or opportunity to murder RW except Henley. Mm-mm-mm. They said, and okay, here we go. This is why you gotta, people. Henley's cell phone location corroborates his involvement in the murder. They're telling you that they've even I reviewed the cell phone location information for two phones associated with Henley for the time before, during, and after the murder. And so, according to witness one and witness two, and one of R.W.'s friends who was visiting him in Las Vegas the day he was murdered, as well as the analysis of Henley's phones, and Henley and Robinson's arrived in Las Vegas January 23rd, 2021. The night before the murder, Henley's phone location data and witnesses showed that he arrived at the Airbnb in Round Rock Drive in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Airbnb the RW was staying in prior to the homicide. In the middle of the night, Henley, through unique music, was paying for the Airbnb. Surveillance footage from in front of the Airbnb showed a dark gray or silver sedan arriving at the Airbnb and leaving shortly after. Oh my goodness. Mm-mm-mm. They even have his location at the studio. What, approximately? I mean, they are very detailed in this. I mean, again, this is only the side, and all that innocent proven to proven guilty crap applies, but still. So based on investigators' test drives and research, the drive from the studio to the Airbnb would take roughly 17 minutes. Mm-mm-mm. They said after Henley's phone stopped reporting location data when they left the vicinity of the studio, the dark sedan arrived with RW at the Airbnb 15 minutes later, which is consistent with the traffic pattern, not the traffic patterns after midnight. And then if you notice the footnote, that adds extra credence to what they're saying, because they're mentioning in 2021 on Drink Champs interview, again interviewing, Hanley discussed the difficulties of getting away with crimes in the modern age because the phone and its location tells all. So you would think he had common sense to know, right? He shouldn't have done it in the first place. It wasn't worth this man losing his life. Mm-mm-mm. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. So this is all cell phone where they was able to catch him. Then evidence at the scene. Medical professionals responded to the scene of RW's murder, and subsequent autopsy found multiple gunshot wounds. Said he was not even dressed for the weather, which was cold and inclement on the night of the murder. DNA was collected from RW's ankle sock area, consistent with direction that RW was dragged into the desert off the highway. Y'all, okay, this is the part where it said analysis of Henley's DNA profile was inconclusive, such that he could not be excluded as a contributor to of the DNA. Robinson, on the other hand, was excluded as a potential contributor of the DNA found. Hanley arranges for recording equipment from the studio to be removed. Oh my goodness, y'all. This is a lot. This is a lot. Mm-mm-mm. And this is still just on the person that was that's now gone. They talk about somebody who is HT and KF. KF claimed that he did not have a phone number for Hanley and had no way to get in contact with him. Oh yeah, they about to roll. They about to roll on him. They about to talk. Everybody about to talk. When the FBI attempted to interview KF, he told them he did not want to talk. Okay. Mm-hmm. The she explained. Okay, so it's a she. Okay, the HT whose account was used by KF. Okay, so HT is the woman. She explained that she did not authorize the use of her Airbnb account and was very upset about it. She explained that her godbrother KF used her Airbnb account to book a room in Las Vegas and then learned someone had been killed during this. Oh, wow. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. So, what's one? SH called Henley from Henley's father's phone. SH had not done this before. During the entirety of the wiretap, Henley answered, "What up, Dad?" Further showing that the anomalous nature of the call. SH then explained that the detectives came by their home and were looking for him, talking to others. He was asking how many officers was there. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's a lot. And I know we haven't gotten to the meat and potatoes, but here's the conversation they had, right? So during the intercepted call, Henley told Martin that he wanted to meet with at Martin's auto shop to discuss the police investigation into RW's murder. The following is a transcript of portion of the conversation. Look at this. Henley, fire detectives went to my house this morning from Las Vegas and said they wanted to talk to me. You hear me? Yeah. Probably let you know. They was asking about RW and static and call cuts out. Okay. 2 year anniversary was they wanted to follow up and talk to everybody who was close. Where you at? He said, I'm at the shop. All right, I'm pulling up to you. All right. Okay, based on intercept, I know that Henley believed the FBI may have been intercepting his phone calls. Therefore, I believe Henley wanted to talk to Martin in person. Mm, mm. It says, as discussed above, because they was talking to him right here. As discussed above, DS reportedly removed video surveillance of Henley and RW's presence at the studio hours before the homicide, namely all the security cameras and DVRs from the studio. Wow. This is a very sticky situation. Um,
Y'all remember a couple of days ago when I mentioned that case where the kid, the football player, it was Big U's son's best friend, played on the football team, who was living with Big U, was killed. And it was saying that Big U didn't show up to the funeral, never contacted the mother for any type of support, anything. Just blocked her and everything, right? It was just like, damn, bro, like you always say if you know anything about these gang murders to give you the information. But when the football player is the best friend of your son who was living with you turns up dead, you don't want nothing to do with nothing, right? So the news came out today, this morning. The mother said that Big U has been denying to give his DNA. So they had to send a warrant to get Big U's DNA. You want to take a wild guess whose DNA came back on the son? Big U, Eugene Henley's DNA, came back on her son's fingernails.
this is when they get into the racketeering. Um, there was a mention, if you've seen it on my Twitter, and I'll be sure to insert that so you can see it again. There was a mention of PNB Rock in there. They talked about that. Um, they talk about the $50,000 here, mentioning a cease and desist. According to further No Jumper and Vlad segments, Henley then served a cease and desist order on No Jumper, and this podcast episode was removed. So this is when um I believe this is when Loose Cannon was on here with Whack 100. Okay, let's start right here. Williams later admitted to this robbery. This is when they must have been talking about Meek Mill, because he sat there and said something about Meek Mill and how they had to get Rick Ross. Rick Ross gave him $50,000 and stuff. Why he said that out loud, I don't know, but he said that out loud. But yeah, he said Williams later admitted to this robbery and the aftermath on the podcast. On the No Jumper podcast, after stating that Williams and Henley's right hand man, Williams explained, so basically he'll manipulate things. Now that this is when he was supposed to be with Wack. This is when Loose Cannon was with Wack 100 and was talking about Big U. So this is when he says this is when they had a whole fallout. He wasn't with Big U anymore. He used to hang heavily with Wack, right? It says so basically he'll manipulate things, he'll go and do something, and then the same ones we do it with to show they show up at the house like 10 minutes later and we're trying to count everything. And he'd be like, what how the and Williams then said that Henley would state, well, we just give them like 40,000 back. And Whack 100 who is a rival counterpart of Henley for the Bloods, was also the podcast and stated, you know why he wanted to give them the dude the money, the 40,000, right? Because he was going to make the dude give him 20 for getting it back. Williams then agreed, of course. He did that to two famous rappers. Williams then detailed demanding the $50,000 from rapper RR Rick Ross, or they will kill the celebrity rapper Meek Mill. Williams then said Rick Ross dropped off the 50,000 and Henley stopped answering the phone and did not share any of the proceeds with Williams, Loose Cannon. According to further No Jumper and Vlad segments, Hanley then served a cease and desist order on No Jumper, and this podcast episode was removed from the platform. Well, you can see it today because they put that joint right back up after he got arrested. They put anything that had to do with him. They put that right back up. This is crazy. Mm-mm-mm. See, this is the part where they mentioned about PNB Rock, right? And they said that Williams also said that he was with Henley when rapper Rakim Hashem Allen, aka PNB Rock, was robbed and killed. That they told him to comply and that they would get the jewelry later. Williams also walked through the kidnapping of a famous rapper that Williams and Henley committed together, and then discussed several Big U enterprise associates being good in Los Angeles because they have checked in. Some were mentioned, developing option donors or former NBA players who have provided hundreds of thousands of dollars as purported gifts in quotations here to Henley personally. It said in 2025, William also took part in film conversation with multiple people on YouTube, of course, in which Williams told another participant that you will lose your life. And then when Williams found him, Williams was going to do something bad to him. This is crazy. They even said that the FBI, right here, FBI obtained many recordings of Big U Enterprise members and associates discussing robberies that were committed or planning to commit. It said, for example, August 6, 2021, on a recorded call, Robinson told victim one trying to lick somebody. That ain't even hard. Man, what? Wow. And then they did another wiretap. Let's go back here just a little bit because it's mentioned in a payment somewhere. Oh, they mentioned that they got to rob somebody. They want to extort and rob somebody. So, on July 31st, 2022, Henley told Victim One that Henley needed $30,000 to pay his developing option staff and was considering a robbery and increased extortions to obtain the funds. Mm, mm, mm. Henley also was intercepted on a telephone call telling an auto shop owner that Henley knew how much he had paid, and the shop owner, because the payment was proceeds of how much he had paid the shop owner because the payment was proceeds of the robbery. In other Title III wiretap interceptions, I also heard Henley planning a robbery of individuals that had stolen equipment from a celebrity rapper. Wow. Mm-mm. They're going back to the checking in thing again with the extortion and violation of the Hobbs Act and racketeering. So basically, it's going on and on and on about these crimes. I don't even think we got into. Oh, this is when they talked about Brick Baby, by the way. Um, let's see what do they have here? This is when they look like they robbed the marijuana dispensary. Okay, here it goes. One of his extortion victims, victim one, was a promoter and marketer who profited from club promotions, operations in interstate commerce, and worked for illegal or quasi-illegal marijuana dispensaries. Instead, Henley and Robinson were quite open in their threats of violence and intimidation if the victims did not pay Big U Enterprises. It says, as stated above, July 5th, 2021, robbery was key to their scheme of extorting Victim One in that once Victim One stopped paying extortion fees to Big U Enterprises, they robbed him to reinstate their control. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. Well, there's a lot to be said here. They have examples of other extortions, including control payments with FBI. They said it's 7/9/2021, 4 days after Big U Enterprises robbed Victim One, as discussed above, consensually monitored calls with Victim One, in which Robinson tasked Victim One with identifying additional robbery victims for Henley and Robinson, where Victim One would receive 25%, and noting that Henley was discussing that Victim One owed Henley money, having only paid a portion of what Victim One owed. Wow. Uh. They have rule call after call what he's supposed to be doing. All I'm saying is this. He has a hard climb to fight. I'm telling you, he got a hard climb. If he didn't do if he I mean, I know he referenced Young Thug's situation and everything, and I didn't read Young Thug's indictment or what have you, but this is something that they're really pulling. They are really pulling this. So, guys, just gonna go ahead and wrap up again. There's gonna be a lot of clips and inserts, what have you, and we'll have the link below in the description or in the comment box, and you can just pull this up at your leisure, and read what you see. Okay, this is your Better Rap Street Team commentator coming live and direct and late. You have a lovely night.
It's my last video before I turn myself in. I'm with my family. talk to my sons, I talk to everybody, man. I'm just saying, going to deal with this fight, see what it is. I just want y'all to know, all this stuff is quagmire. Shit is all bull crap. I just need y'all prayers. I need y'all to... I don't even know what to say. Now, 21 years, I've elevated my family, come back, sit in here and write and do what I need to do until I can come back home. People are supposed to help me, I hope you help me. If you can't, you don't worry about it. A lot of stuff y'all hearing is straight trash. And I appreciate the love, and I appreciate the people who've been helping me. I don't know. It's hard helping black people and not being hunted for doing it.
First Street, it might be to, I don't know if it's to the right or the left.
Reach out to anybody who can help me, y'all.
You hear me?
Help my own family. Appreciate y'all. Go. I'm looking at this video as I come in to turn myself in, and I'm disheartened by the fact that they trying to say that I stole something from Developing Option, or I used Developing Option as a front. Developing Option paid my bills. They paid my house note. They paid the bills for my family, the money I made from as an employee for Developing Option. I never mixed that with nothing. I didn't manipulate nobody. I didn't steal nothing. We did PPP loans. We did 2 loans. And that's it, just like everybody else did. I didn't use no fraud. I didn't give none of fake names. And one of them we was paying back and one they forgave. You know what I mean? And the other one we attempted for and they didn't give us nothing for it. I filed my taxes and them coming around telling me I was using Developing Option as a cover. Cover for what? None of that's going to be true. None of that's going to be true. The government putting this big ass picture and they want to arrest 21 dudes. Some dudes I don't even talk to. I don't even know nothing about. So how the hell you going to lump me in with all them? But it's all the big picture though. It's all the big picture. Now I'm gonna be sitting in here. It's gonna be years out of my life. Then you going to get dudes who I don't even talk to. What they gonna say? You ruining people's lives. I heard it's over 21 people that's been arrested. This shit wrong. It is what it is. Church, just pray for me. Pray for me, pray for my family. And you look at what we did. You look at what I did. I've been home 21 years. It ain't over though. That's what it's not. Blessings. I'm looking at all these charges on the news. I'm headed back to LA. And then I'm looking at the people they arrested. How you gonna go arrest people that I don't even talk to? That's a built-in liar right there. You know what I mean? So, is that how they gonna work the case? Everybody know I don't fuck with Cannon. Everybody know I don't fuck with Brick Baby. So if you want to arrest certain dudes, and put them next to me, them is the dudes you gonna have to call themselves turning against me. Well, ain't no turning against me. I ain't going for that. You might as well go get 600 and whack. These dudes been saying I did shit all year. So what they doing is, they go on the internet, and these dudes say that I did shit on the internet. Then when you say I did on the internet, they go investigate it. Now you raiding my houses, raiding my shops, raiding all this stuff, and talking about I'm committing crimes and covering up with Developing Option. What crimes am I committing to cover up with Developing Option? You know what I'm saying? I ain't committed no crimes and covered nothing up with Developing Option. This shit crazy. But this how they get you. They get 1 or 2 people to say something. Ain't gonna be no real evidence. Ain't gonna be no real nothing. It's going to be a repeat of Thug. It's going to be a bunch of people in jail for a bunch of different crimes that don't have nothing to do with me. They finna lump all of us up and say it's all the Rolling 60s. Watch and see. We just seen it with Thug. I'm finna experience the same thing out here. I knew it was coming. Now they on there saying all this stuff to assassinate my character. All right, man, just pray for me. And again, they can do any one of us. It ain't nobody safe with these dudes. If these dudes feel they want you, how they going around talking about somebody's gonna raid my house before my house get raided? How they there with the police? And y'all sitting there following them. Everybody that's a part of them shows, and 100 shows, and all them shows, and y'all need to, everybody who following them, promoting them, anything. Y'all wrong. Y'all ain't black. And y'all show ain't for our people. They can put charges against anybody. So this is gonna probably be my last video. I'm gonna go turn myself in to see what's going on. They talking about I'm a fugitive. So they just raided all my houses. 600 was actually with the police when they raided my house. He's actually got video and footage of it. So y'all know what y'all dealing with. And I just want to say this to y'all. When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about whack. Whack, loose cannon, 600, and this internet stuff. All of y'all filed. All y'all who be sending shit around the internet, all y'all who be promoting and listening to what these niggas saying, all y'all giving these likes and hidden likes, all y'all supporting this. All y'all guilty of this fuck shit. If you had something against a black man, you should handle it with a black man in the streets. Wack said 100 times he was gonna take my contracts. He working with the FBI. The FBI went to the city 3 days in a row and told the city they didn't want nobody to give me no more money. They went to all the different celebrities and told all the different celebrities, don't give me no money, don't help me, don't do nothing for me. They going around scaring and intimidating everybody. But y'all sitting it around getting people in trouble. Like y'all don't understand what the FBI do to black men who try to help their community. I ain't been nothing but a help to our community. But I guess it is what it is. This the price of being black and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community and do what you can. You just guilty because somebody else don't like you and they go on the internet and do what the fuck they want to and y'all gonna promote it. It's crazy. But I'm going to go turn myself in though. Cause I ain't did nothing. This fact is, man, they done went to my house, kicked my houses in, bust my doors down, bust my windows. They calling my son at his football practice, threatening him. You know what I mean? These dudes tagging him. What kind of shit is this? But y'all gonna be rolling with these dudes. And I got this last thing to say. Wack said he was gonna destroy developing option, right? So who gonna replace developing option? Which one of you fuck niggas in the 60s gonna call yourself coming in? Because whoever try to come in, y'all the ones that's working with Wack. Believe that. So remove me to get me out the way for somebody else to come in who gonna cooperate. That's what the play is. That's what the whole play is. I'm out. I'm gonna send y'all videos to put up all of it until they lock me up.